Welcome to 2024, our first episode of the Best Damn Coach podcast to kickstart the year. I hope you all had a great new year. Happy holiday season. And I am pumped about today's episode because it is what I believe has helped me massively up-level my business over the past year and change, and has drastically shifted how I operate my business, how I operate my life, how I think about my business. And today we're going to be talking about developing a GOAT mindset in 2024. So stay tuned because I'm going to tell you what that means and how to apply it specifically. Now, I am not going to jump on the bandwagon right now and talk about goals and goal setting and all of those things. While I think those are important, they are no more, they are less important, in fact, than what I'm going to talk about today, which is the mindset that is needed for you to successfully achieve the things you most desire this year. And so you can look back at previous episodes if you want support around goal setting. I have a few. We're going to link them in the show notes. I walk you through my goal setting processes, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all amazing things to do. But I think this supersedes that. And so I think that it's necessary for me to share what I'm about to today. I'm going to be talking about really how to become the very thing you want in 2024 and what it's going to take for your brain to make that happen. And we've heard the term mindset, it's tossed around so much. People will call them mindset coaches. If you are, I would really encourage you to get a little bit more specific. But remember, the word mindset is just a collection of thoughts and beliefs. And your mindset is either working for you or your mindset is working against you. And mindset isn't this one thing that's fixed and stagnant. Mindset is this very much living, breathing, well, not necessarily breathing, but this living thing that can be flexible. So you're born with a brain, right, which is a fixed size for the most part. However, your mind can change and grow as much as you desire it your entire life, which I think is why you're here, because you do desire that change. And if you've been sticking around here long enough, you know I'm a massive football fan. And sometimes I even know specific stats more than my son and my husband. They'll look at me like, how did you know that? I love football and I love sports in general. I am a giant Tom Brady fan. So shout out to Tom. Tom, I hope you can hear this episode. I hope you are feeling the love. And so I was a bandwagoner Patriots fan until he moved to the Bucks. Yes, that is true. But there's more than I like about him than just how pretty he is. If you don't know who Tom Brady is, by the way, he is a former NFL quarterback who played for the New England Patriots, like was a legacy quarterback. And then he finished his career last year in Tampa Bay and retired from the Bucks community then. And like I said, he's not bad to look at. And you also might know, if you don't follow football, he was married to Gisele Bundchen, a most amazing, gorgeous supermodel, and you get the idea here. But Tom is often referred to as the GOAT of all NFL quarterbacks. And GOAT is just an acronym that means greatest of all time. And I remember one time I found myself thinking a lot about this reference when it comes to Tom, and really a few years ago. And I was watching commentary on ESPN, and they were arguing about this term and this reference given to Tom, because inevitably, he's a quarterback in the 2000s, and there's been many great quarterbacks that have come before him and many that will come after him. And they were all kind of arguing who the GOAT was. And I wondered, like, does Tom think he's the GOAT? Does Tom believe that he is the GOAT? And the fact that he is referenced as the GOAT is just an opinion of some. It's not a fact. Others may think that other former quarterbacks are the GOATs. In fact, I've seen a lot of sports commentary arguing about this very thing that I'm talking about today. And so I share this because I started thinking about this for myself. How does Tom think about himself? In order to be who he is to the NFL community and to create this legacy, does Tom think he's the GOAT? And if I were to guess based on how superior he is, my guess is he does. Right? He believes he is the GOAT, and he doesn't need other people to believe it. In fact, it doesn't even need to be a fact to others. The only thing that matters is that he believes it is a fact. And when he believes it is a fact, then it drives his performance on the football field. So I started thinking about myself. How does this acronym play out for me? What if I believed I was the GOAT of what I do? Would things, or how might things look different in my world? And how might it impact how I show up? And I started to think, oh my gosh, I really just started thinking, like, how much would that thought serve me every single day when it comes to business? And not just business. What if I'm the GOAT of moms? What if I'm the GOAT of wives? And you might be thinking, well, yeah, but you can't be the greatest of all time as a mom. And the truth is, I can be if I believe it. And I want you to believe it about you as a mom, too, or a wife, or as a coach. And so here's what I did. I started to write, I am the GOAT on sticky notes. And I put those sticky notes around the perimeter of my screen, my monitor. And I also wrote it giant on the whiteboard that sits right next to me. And then I started saying it often. I started speaking it often, and not only to myself, but to others. And I started to realize I truly began to embody it. And it doesn't matter if anybody else on the earth believed it or not. Because if I did, it begins to actually, in fact, help me be the GOAT. And so everything began to shift when I adopted this mindset. And I wonder what it might look like if you did the same. If I could plant seeds today inside your mind about how this thought might impact you positively, and what might happen if you believed you were the GOAT in your specific coaching niche, or for your clients, or for whatever stretches you and simultaneously excites you. It doesn't even have to be anything professional. It could be something more personal. So I decided that above any goal setting, above any strategy, above anything else I might teach, I must help you become the GOAT. And to become the GOAT, you have to first think you are the GOAT. And when you are the GOAT, everything begins to change. And in fact, this has been so pivotal for me. It is GOAT month inside the BDC, which means we are going deeper than what I'm offering today on the podcast, because my community was just like, we take the podcast and we take it to like 10x, right? I've sent them gifts around becoming the GOAT. I'm going to challenge that this become the motto of my community, because I want GOATs. I want coaches who believe they are GOATs. I want coaches who breathe that they are GOATs. And I want coaches who are when in doubt, when in frustration, they ask themselves, like, what would the GOAT do? And so today I'm going to be more specific, and I'm going to give you some tangible ways, three specific tangible ways that three tangible things that I did to develop a GOAT mindset. This mindset has helped me drastically simplify my business, drastically improve and grow my revenue, and has also just next level improved my confidence. And I know it can for you too. So get your pen and paper ready. We're going to dive into the tangible steps now. So, number one is I made a commitment to refute any evidence that was in dispute of me being the GOAT. So, in other words, if there was any little nooks and things that like seeped into the nooks and crannies of my brain that started to beget doubt, I absolutely rejected it. So when it happened in my mind and I noticed it, like let's say I got off a webinar and it was like meh, or I started to feel like meh about it, or I got off a client call and I was like, whoa, nope. The GOAT does not sit on her hands and fall into doubt. The GOAT goes, what's the feeling here? How am I going to respond to it? How am I going to ask myself logical questions to get better? Instead, the GOAT does not have a pity party and sit in inaction. Right? So I had to first notice it when non-GOAT like things entered into my brain. I had to push them out, acknowledge them, be aware of them, not blindly reject them and just say, I'm amazing, let's go. This isn't a discussion of vanity, you guys. It's about up-leveling your confidence and your competence. And so once I was aware, then I had to take it to paper. I made a commitment to explore whatever those things that were seeping in. And so I would explore them in acute moments, right? When I started to feel things like doubt and frustration, like, okay, what's coming up here? What's the thoughts? Then I would ask myself, how do I make decisions about what these thoughts are from a GOAT perspective? The other thing I did was just daily, I spent time in my thoughts. This is nothing new. I've talked about this for always. This has not changed. How I went about it did change a little bit because, again, I'm trying to make decisions and think from the GOAT space. Like, how does the coach that is the GOAT respond and think on a daily basis? Not how does Amanda last year respond, but how am I making thoughts and behavior changes from a future paced perspective? And the other thing that I began to do is I would refute anything from other people that actually didn't beget best damn coach and goat like vibes. So if people were to say, "Oh, how's that little business doing?" I was like, "Oh, I don't have a little business. I have a company." Right? Or how's coaching going? I was like, "Oh, yeah, my coaching practice, my company, it's fantastic." Right? I really started to think, I'm not going to downplay myself. This is a company. It makes multiple seven figures, has made, and it's growing in employees, it's growing in size, it's growing in confidence, it's growing in legacy, it's growing in impact, and I'm not going to make it small. Don't make your business small. Please stop calling your business a baby business. Just a side note. It's not a baby business. It is a business. Commit to it being a business. So, step one, I refuted any evidence against non GOAT like things. This is such a weird way to say it, but you get what I'm saying. Step number two, I said GOAT like things all the time out loud. So, when I finished calls with my clients, I'd be like, I'm the GOAT. They didn't hear me say this, but I would like finish Zoom and I'd be like, I am the freaking GOAT. Like, I would just say it out loud. I would say it internally if I were in conversations and I couldn't really express it out loud. But I wanted to keep planting seeds in my unconscious mind that it was accurate. I am the GOAT. Right? Tom Brady does, nobody in the world has to confirm that he's the GOAT. Tom Brady has to believe he's the GOAT. And if you interview all of these amazing, exceptional performers in their craft, my guess is they would believe I am the GOAT. And that's okay because that's what drives the success of what I've created. So also saying it out loud included to my family and to my husband. I would come out of my office and be like, I freaking rocked. I'm the GOAT. And he would like chuckle every time. And he would just affirm me, you are the GOAT. I would tell it to my kids. I want them to hear my celebration of myself and know that it is acceptable and to be excited about the things I'm doing and the legacy and the impact and the work I do. And the cool thing about this one is the more I talked about it out loud, the more I saw people saying it back to me. And so people start to refer to me as the best damn coach now. People that introduce me in places, friends, they start to see the identity and associate it with me. And that's because I fully own it. Same thing in my copy. I'm referring to it, I'm talking about it, and I'm also telling it to my clients. I'm letting them know that I believe I'm the GOAT. And again, not in a vain way, right? But I want them to know that I'm leading them. Would they want me to not believe I'm the GOAT? I don't think any of you listening would want me to believe non GOAT like things if you're listening with the desire to learn and grow from somebody who loves the work that they do and has figured out a thing or two along this journey and is giving that to you so you can get there faster. If I'm like training to be an NFL quarterback, I want to learn from Tom Brady. Step number 3 is I began to surround myself with GOAT like things. I will say this has been the most challenging part of the last year because it's also, there's some pain and some grief around this part a little bit because with that, I have put some space in friendships because there were certain people in my life that didn't necessarily fully support or encourage the growth that I desire inside of my business and life. Like my growth and desire and dreams are too much. Why can't I just be content with where I'm at? And the truth is that that's not how I'm like wired. And I don't want to be, I know how to be content and want more. Like there is an and also, it doesn't have to be one or the other. And so I realized that some of those people were kind of planting seeds of doubt that I had to refute. And that means that like there's just more space there. That also meant that I had to leave communities that I was maybe either paying to be a part of or choosing to be a part of that weren't where I was maybe not the small fish. And I like to be the small fish. And that I wasn't feeling the opportunity to growth and to exemplify some of those characteristics. So, truth story around that, that has been the most painful part of this. But other ways I've surrounded myself with it are the things I listen to. I've been very selective about books this year. I've been very selective. I've listened to some of the same books. You know, my love for 10x is easier than 2x, by the way. Listened to that so many times. I've surrounded myself with it with the sticky notes and the signs. I also changed my Zoom title. It's Amanda Walker, the best damn coach. So anytime I go in somewhere, it's already like there. I see it every day because I'm in it. And also my daily practices, and I won't say that this is daily. I would say it's frequent, maybe 3 to 5 times a week. My visualizations. I'm seeing myself consistently as the goat. And that presents visually differently depending on the day, but just allowing myself, remember the unconscious mind, like that's how our brain communicates is through pictures. So the more we put ourselves in the position visually of what we want to become, speaking on stage, full client roster, Zoom with 20 clients, like whatever that thing is for you, just visiting it frequently through visualizations. And the more we do all of these things, the more we like bathe in goatness, then the more it comes natural to us to talk about it, to be it, to become it. And when we have this level of confidence, it makes taking action, even the scary, uncomfortable, massive action required in our business, much easier. And then this creates this compound, it's compound interest. It starts small. It's like a snowball going down a hill and it just gains more snow and it gets bigger and it gets bigger. And then it's like you are a snowball that cannot be stopped. And so before goal setting, the first thing is that you have to develop a mindset that supports the goal because you can put anything and slap anything you want on paper. And if you don't have the mindset underneath it, it's the foundation truly to support it, then you're going to spend another year not getting where you want to go and not really shifting your identity. Ultimately, goal shifting is nothing to do about the goal. It's about the identity you must embody and become in the process of achieving that goal. You become the coach who makes 6 figures. Even if you don't make 6 figures, you have to do the things and take the scary action that's required. And all of a sudden, you're this new version of yourself as you take flight in the next year. And I think this is the part that's often missed is how do I tangibly shift my mindset? And it requires like effort from a 360-degree space, but more importantly, it first requires a commitment from you. So I want you to be the goat. And I wonder what would happen if you committed to this mindset too and these practices, and not just for 30 days, but for an entire year. And not just in the highs, but in the lows. Because to be the greatest of all time, you first have to believe that you can become it. And then you are on the way of becoming it. And soon you're going to see the impact and the outcome of what happens when you truly begin to embody it for you and your clients. So cheers, friends, to 2024 and becoming goats. I'd love to know. Let's have a conversation over on Instagram. I'll be talking about this episode all week. And I'd love to know, what are you doing to become the GOAT? Or which one of the tangible steps that I offered today is really going to serve you to developing a GOAT mindset? I've talked about this as we ended 2023 and moving into 2024. We are 10xing it around here. We are massively committed to supporting you. We want goats in our world too, or those that maybe have this little hope and they need support to deepening this goat mindset. This is what we're here to do. I always like to say, I believe in you with certainty. And sometimes we need to borrow the belief of our mentors so that we can fully own the belief along the journey for ourselves. And that's truly what, I believe is a gift that I have for all of my clients is I am here to help you believe in yourself when you might struggle with it. And that is going to be the key to taking consistent action throughout this year and the many years that move forward. So I am honored you are here with us. I cannot wait to do this year together. I cannot wait to learn together. I can't wait to keep sharing the things that are working for us around here, add in more financial transparency and numbers and data with you, and bring in even more rich and potent guests to help you keep learning. So I'm wishing you all a happy, happy new year. And let's go out and just change and impact so many lives together in 2024.